This house, please join me once again in welcoming them. Thank you. Yes. Honorable, have I gotten something wrong? No, under rules we don't have a provision for you to say anything. Here, unfortunately. But your people, I must tell them that you're very good legislators, and you always speak here. Yeah. So, honorable colleagues, Chair, there's something you should have done because I understand there is a minority report. So since you are delegated, but Chair, please, can you do the necessary? Let's save time, okay? I understand there is a minority report.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, we are all aware of the rules of procedure of this House. We are all aware that a minority report forms part of the report. However, up to this point, we have not received any notice of a minority report, neither have we received any copy. As such, there is therefore no minority report for this.
Thank you. Now, my office and the office of the clerk received a copy of the minority report. So if the notice is still on the way, let me call Honorable Semuju to present the minority report. Yeah. Because these are issues we should avoid here on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the report and the notes was given to the Vice Chair yesterday, who was chairing meetings. I didn't want to go into the internal workings of the committee, but the Chair was not there when these things were happening. So his vice, who was chairing the committee, received both the notes but also received the report. Mr. Speaker, this is the report. Why are you saying Background. The government has set out to implement the rationalization of agencies and public expenditure policy in the most uncoordinated, disorganized and archaic manner. 7 months into the 2024-25 financial year, several previously provided services by closed agencies remain unassigned. Some of these agencies used to collect fees, non-tax revenue, for the government. Closing them is a double loss for the country. Not only are essential services no longer being provided, the government is also losing out on crucial revenue. The agencies were summarily closed before ministries and bodies supposed to take over their functions were ready to do so. In some cases, Ministry of Public Service, the main sponsor of rationalization, is yet to approve new staff structures. Some of the staff for the closed agencies stopped receiving salaries in December. Their fate remains unknown and may struggle taking their children to school this term. This human-induced suffering, similar to the Kitezi landfill catastrophe of last year, is playing out in many agencies. The money, budgets, EU Parliament appropriated for agencies in May 2024 for service delivery remain unutilized because of the break in service provision occasioned by this unplanned transition. Everybody knows that the NRM is allergic to orderly and peaceful transfer of power. What maybe we didn't know is that this organization is the way they work. This is because all decisions are made by one man and offloaded on two others for implementation. Sometimes the implementers don't know what he wants and they cannot easily access him for clarification. This motion by 40-year-old Honorable Henry Musasi Zariganyira, born February 25, 1981, about a month into Mr. Museveni's Luwero War, is another evidence of what we are talking about, as you will see later. Areas of dissent. I like cheering. When you are cheering and I am reading, I like it. Areas of dissent. Non-compliance with the law, piecemeal implementation, disorganized transition, misinformation, misleading to Parliament. Non-compliance with the law. The motion by Honorable Musasi, tabled in Parliament on December 19, 2024, is asking you to casually move huge sums of taxpayers' money across entities in total disregard of Article 156 of the Constitution and Public Finance Management Act. Section 15 of the Public Finance Management Act states, after approval of the annual budget by Parliament, the Secretary to Treasury shall issue the annual cash flow plan of government based on the procurement plans, work plans, and recruitment plans approved by Parliament. I have underlined the word approved by Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, the motion presented by Finance Minister referred only to revised work plans. It ignored the recruitment and procurement plans. But even what was attached to the motion as work plans are just some lousy statements that do not constitute a work plan even to a high school student. The minister must, as a matter of law, table procurement plans, recruitment plans, and credible work plans that are costed. That should again be sent to our sectoral committees for scrutiny. Scrutinizing these plans is a function of sectoral committees and not a standing committee on the budget. This motion can only stand if it is amended to include tabling of a supplementary budget that will be sent to the sectoral committees for scrutiny before it is finally processed by the budget committee. And this must be done under Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act on supplementary budgets. This is not a mere reallocation under Section 19 of the Public Finance Management Act. The only reallocation in the motion from one existing vote to another vote relates to Uganda National Registration Services Bureau, which is ceding registration of marriages to National Identification Registration Authority, NIRA. Here, only one function is moving from one entity to another. What does the Constitution say? The Constitution in Article 156 provides a solution. It allows ministries and agencies that have taken over other functions and they don't have money to perform them to request for a supplementary budget. It states, if in respect of any financial year it is found, A, that the amount appropriated for any purpose under the Appropriation Act is insufficient, and mark the word insufficient, or that a need has arisen for expenditure for purpose for which no amount has been appropriated by that act, or B, that any monies have been expended for any purpose in excess of the amount appropriated for that purpose, or for a purpose for which no amount has been appropriated by that act. A supplementary estimate showing the sums required or spent shall be laid down before Parliament, and in the case of excess expenditure within 4 months after the money is spent. The minister knows the rest of the process you go through that follows a supplementary budget, including a supplementary appropriation bill that eventually should amend the Appropriation Act. Our contention is that what the Minister of Finance wants Parliament to do is a budget revision and not a reallocation. The budget is revised through a supplementary process under Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act and not through a motion for reallocation under Section 19. Peaceful implementation. The motion by the minister requests transfer of budgets in respect of 13 agencies. Yet Parliament approved the rationalization of more than 20, and they all commenced around the same time in August. In fact, the Budget Committee processed the request for 13 agencies, and the report was duly signed by members. This report, the Vice Chair, who I referred to earlier, said was to be presented on Tuesday, February 4th. On the morning of Wednesday, February 5th, the Vice Chair, the Chair, without following our rules on meetings, called another meeting to also process UNRWA and Road Fund and others. Parliament cannot work that way. If the executive is disorganized, don't apply to join them. And this is how they even process the annual budget. You remember how addendums were being trafficked into the plenary midway the appropriation. This is what they are doing. This morning, as we are finishing signing this, they are bringing another motion that UNRWA is here and others. What does the motion say? Uganda Registration Services Bureau. You will excuse me, I may repeat some of the information, but it's important. The motion seeks to transfer 1 billion from Registration Services Bureau to National Identification Registration Authority. This is to cater for civil registration such as marriages, which is being transferred to NIRA. This transfer reduces the budget of Registration Services Bureau from 43.8 to 42.8 billion. The bill to effect this change was assented to on July 15, 2024. It increases the budget of NIRA from 100.3 billion to 101.3 billion. Please note that the amount proposed for transfer in the original motion are different from what the minister presented as additional information to the Budget Committee. In the motion, the minister proposed transfer of 1.7 billion for the services to NIRA. Yet some of the money had already been spent. And you need to look at both schedules, the one that came with the motion and the one he brought before the committee. National Population Council was abolished and function transferred to National Planning Authority. The bill abolishing it, which was a repeal, was assented to on July 15, 2024. It had an approved recurrent budget of 6.8 billion. Finance released 2.1 billion to the agency. What remains is 4.6, which this motion seeks to transfer. For development, the Population Council was allocated 104.1 million for a whole year. With 4 months remaining, the minister wants all of it transferred, what remains to NPA. The minister requires additional funds to cater for their enhanced salary. Please take note that the former staff of the Population Council have had their salaries enhanced because the entity they have joined pays higher salaries. So more money here is required, but they are talking about a saving. National Physical Planning Board abolished and function transferred to National Planning Authority. The bill abolishing it was assented to on July 15th. The 900 million meant to run the Physical Planning Board was part of the 111.5 billion Ministry of Lands budget, which as a result of this transfer reduces to 110.6 billion. When you transfer the budget of Population Council and the Physical Planning Board to NPA, you are increasing the budget of NPA from 62.8 billion to 70.3 billion. Uganda National Meteorological Authority was abolished and function transferred to Ministry of Water. The bill abolishing it was assented to on June 14, 2024. The total budget for this entity was 14.3 billion recurrent and 263.3 million development. 3 billion was released before the eventual closure. The 11 billion point 3 was not released, from which the finance now wants to transfer part of it, 6.9, to Minister of Water. This will eventually increase the budget of Ministry of Water from 25.6 billion to 32.5 billion. Uganda Wildlife Education Center was merged with Uganda Wildlife Authority. The bill merging them was assented to on July 15th. The total budget for the wildlife education was 14.8 billion, shilling 7.43 billion was released before the merger, leaving a balance of 7.43 billion. The minister wants 4.2 billion transferred, leaving a balance of 3.15 billion. The point for you to note is that not all the budgets are being moved. Some of the money remains in air. This will increase the budget.
Procedure, point of procedure.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I am raising for your procedural guidance. The Honorable Semuju is moving under Rule 205 of a minority report. And in sub-rule 1, it says a member or members dissenting from the opinion of a majority of a committee may state in writing the reasons for his or her or their dissent, and the statements of reasons shall be appended to the report of the committee. My understanding is that what is envisaged is that a member reads the majority report and disagrees with some of the recommendations being made, and then you give reasons. So may I seek your guidance on whether minority reports should now be voluminous reports, meandering all over, criticizing the motion by the minister, the way the Honorable Semuju is saying. So my guidance I'm seeking, or what I'm requesting, is for you to guide the House, including Honorable Semuju, for members to stick to what the rule requires, not take us into a fish expedition of very many things which are not in the rules.
What I'm understanding Honorable Badiomus to mean here is that you've given a reason for dissent and then too much justification, isn't it? Because I'm seeing he's capturing the issues which he believes the committee has said are okay, and for him he believes they are not okay. Or the committee has ignored, and for him he's now bringing them out in another way. Yeah, that same Jews style, you know, and the problem with the reports, yeah. So let's do it quickly. We finish. I hope you're not now going on about Yomun's also.
No,
because I can see how you're looking at him.
Mr. Speaker, I have no intention, because he's my friend. When he was arrested, I even visited him. I really have no intention.
He claimed to have brought you slippers, Honorable Badiomus. So the problem was the size.
Point of order. Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Semuju, in order to keep repeating, visiting me, when he actually came empty-handed without any food.
Honorable colleagues, let's move on. I think his quarrel is, Honorable Badiomus, his quarrel is you never reciprocated the visit when he had problems. So next time you settle that, and we know you're one-on-one, okay? So Honorable Semuju, please conclude.
Mr. Speaker, just to comfort my friend Bariomo, some of the information I am giving is important for Parliament. Government said they are going to save money by rationalization. I am now reading Uganda Wildlife Education Center, where as a result of the merger, the salaries of people who are working in UWEC, 38 of them, have gone up immediately because they have joined an entity that is paying a higher salary. In fact, in the committee, they are saying there will be a saving of 3 billion. When the ministry and these entities appeared before the committee, they said the only saving was on the board, which is 200 million shilling, but they will require more money to enhance salaries. I thought this information was important if you are not just biased about a report. Because each time I present a report, you must stand here to read the rule as if I am being introduced to this rule for the first time. Mr. Speaker, I was on number 5, the Wildlife Education Center. I don't have to repeat everything, but the point is, here the reported saving of 3 billion actually is a pure lie, because you need more money, and that's why you must be very careful with this motion. For some entities, it is adding money. But there are also new entities, Mr. Speaker, as you said, tomorrow when it comes here. New entities with new votes. You have merged the Free Zones Authority with Export Promotion Board to form a new entity that is new, that will require a new vote. You just can't move money like that. Because this Section 19 relates to existing votes and moving of functions. I'll go to National Children Authority. I can cover these ones together so that the Minister for Information and National Guidance is not bored. National Children Authority, number 7, National Youth Council, number 8, National Women's Council, number 9, National Council for Disability, number 10, National Council for Older Persons. I'll just make a statement without reading the report. Here, the motion was that they are transferring them to Ministry of Gender. What instead has happened is the creation of a joint secretariat that actually requires more money. But the original budgets for each of these entities has remained. In fact, the Ministry of Gender, when it appeared before the budget committee, they had problems that they were being asked to implement something unimplementable. Because they said you just streamline all these councils into the ministry. They said you cannot. So this information is important for Parliament to note, that actually what we are asked to do is eventually not what has happened. I'll skip 11 because 11 relates to the creation of a secretariat for all these councils. Uganda, number 12, Uganda Warehouse Receipt System Authority abolished and services transferred to Ministry of Trade and Industry and Cooperative under the Department of Warehouse and Receipt Management. The bill was assented to on July 15th. The approved budget for this entity was 3.1 billion. Released so far 817 million, and a balance of 2.3 remain. Interestingly here, the minister says no request to transfer is being made, but a saving. So here the information is confused. You will need to go back to the 2 documents of the minister. On this point, finally, NGO Bureau was mainstreamed into Ministry of Internal Affairs under the Department of NGO Management, and it was named Department of Non-Government Organizations Management. The budget for the NGO Bureau was 1.9 billion. 1.6 billion was released, leaving a balance of 360 million. No money here is being transferred. At least the attachment the minister brought remained vacant, but he included it. What is the status of other rationalized agencies? This part I did it before the Honorable Musasi's trafficked another motion, which is now under consideration. But the point here, you are being asked to reallocate money for 13 agencies, 12 above. What about the following that were also rationalized? That's the question I was asking before this motion was brought, and I have listed them. Accepting to process the 13 today, you will be asked to process others in a piecemeal manner. This parliament must set some standards. Minister of Finance cannot turn it into their department. One single supplementary request should be tabled to facilitate this unprecedented budget revision. Please don't allow the minister to make this matter look simple, because it is not. And must be careful when you are processing it. Otherwise, we will be, Mr. Speaker, I have done with the report. We will be making the same mistake that they are making. The committee cannot capture everything that has happened when we are meeting these entities. They are all suffering. As I said, there are entities that are supposed to be correcting money, they can't correct because they imagined them public services yet to approve the new structure. Yet they brought a budget here to say it will be financed by money including NTR. So this total chaos by the implementers of rationalization should not be tolerated by Parliament, because they will come here persuading you that there is a crisis. And I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. That marks the end of my presentation.